Namaste everyone. Welcome back to second PU physics class, that is moving charges and magnetism. Today let us discuss about cyclotron. What do you mean by cyclotron? So cyclotron is nothing but a device. It is a device and it is used to accelerate the charged particles, or it is used to increase the speed of the charged particles. Using this device we can increase the speed of charged particles. So I write the definition first. It is a device used to accelerate the charged particles. It is used to accelerate the charged particles, and these high speed particles are used in nuclear physics experiments. So this device makes use of both electric field as well as the magnetic field. How this magnetic field is created? By using two strong pole pieces of magnet we can create magnetic field. So here we have north pole and here we have south pole. So the magnetic field lines are directed from north pole to south pole. So the magnetic field lines are directed. Between the two pole pieces of magnet we have placed two hollow discs, D-shaped hollow discs, and these two discs are connected to an oscillator. So one is at negative potential, another one is at positive potential. So by this we can create electric field. So electric field lines are directed like this, so from positive to negative. So these two are hollow discs. That means inside the disc there is no electric field inside this disc. Only between these two plates we have electric field, and the electric field is like this. Okay. So between these two Ds we have electric field. Inside this hollow disc and also inside this hollow disc we do not have any electric field, but we have magnetic field. Magnetic field is there inside the disc, but the electric field is not there inside the disc. Okay. So I will draw the same diagram in a different way. Two Ds are there, D-shaped hollow discs. So one is D1, another one is D2, and this whole setup is placed inside evacuated chamber. So there is one evacuated chamber, and here we have the magnetic field. So magnetic field is denoted by a dot. That means magnetic field is coming out of the plane. So the magnetic field is coming out of the plane like this. That's why we have denoted it by means of a dot. So there is uniform magnetic field, and the magnetic field is directed out of the plane of the paper. So these two Ds are connected to an oscillator. So one D is at negative potential, D1 is at negative potential at first, and D2 is at positive potential. So there is electric field, and the electric field is directed from positive to negative. So the direction is like this. So this is the direction of electric field. Only between these two plates we have electric field. Inside this D1 and inside this D2 we do not have electric field, but magnetic field is there. Okay? So, this device is used to increase the speed of charged particle. Here we have both electric as well as the magnetic field. We know that electric field is used to accelerate the charged particle, right? The force acting on the particle in the presence of electric field, F is equal to Q into E. Similarly, here we have magnetic field. Magnetic field changes the direction of motion. It will not accelerate the charge, but it changes only the direction of motion of the charged particle. So, there is one proton. Proton is a positively charged particle. So, that proton is placed between the two D's, D1 and D2. Between these two D's, there is one proton, that is a positively charged particle is placed here, or it is placed in the presence of electric field. Since it is in the electric field, this electric field will accelerate the charge, because always electric field accelerates the charge. So, this positively charged proton is attracted towards D1, because D1 is at some negative potential. So, it will enter this D1. Inside this disc, electric field is 0, but magnetic field is there. Due to this magnetic field, the charge will describe a semicircle. It will move like this. Right? We know that when V and B are perpendicular to each other, the charged particle in the presence of magnetic field will describe a circular path. So, inside this D1 there is only magnetic field, electric field is 0. So, the charged particle will move like this. Right? We know that. So, consider a proton or positively charged particle which is placed between the D's. Between D1 and D2, we have electric field. We have electric field. So, the charged particle will be accelerated. Electric field will accelerate the charge. It is accelerated towards D1. Why it is accelerated towards D1? Because D1 is maintained at negative potential, because it is at negative potential. Always positive charge is attracted towards the negative potential and negative charge is attracted towards the positive potential. So, it will enter D1. So, the magnetic force will act on the particle, therefore, it will move like this, right. In order to move in a circular path, centripetal force is required. Who is providing that centripetal force here? Lorentz force is providing the necessary centripetal force. So, I will write the centripetal force mv square by r is nothing but or is equal to qvb. In order to move in a circular path, centripetal force is required. In this example, Lorentz force is providing the necessary centripetal force. Therefore, mv square by r is equal to qv into b, or mv square is equal to qvb into r, or v square is equal to qvbr divided by m, or v is equal to qbr divided by m. This is the expression for velocity of the particle. Therefore, r is equal to v into m divided by q into b. This is the expression for radius of the circular path. So, radius is directly proportional to velocity. So, r is directly proportional to velocity. As velocity increases, radius of the circular path also increases because they are directly proportional. So, when this charged particle comes out of this D1, when it comes out of the disc, this oscillator changes its potential. That is, D1 now becomes positive and it becomes negative. Therefore, this charged particle will enter this D2. Before entering this disc D2, it is moving in the electric field. What this electric field will do? This electric field will again accelerate the charge. Therefore, its velocity further increases. With increasing its velocity, it will enter D2. As velocity increases, radius also increases. Therefore, it will describe a circle with increase in radius. So, this is the diagram. Again, inside this D2 we have only magnetic field, we do not have any electric field. Therefore, due to that magnetic field, the particle will move in circular path, semicircular path. Again, when this charged particle enters this electric field, the potential reverses. That means, again it becomes negative and it becomes positive. The charged particle enters this electric field. Due to this electric field, velocity again increases. When it enters D1 with increase in velocity, what happens? Due to the magnetic field, it describes a semicircular path and radius of the semicircle is more because velocity is more. Again, this process continues. Now, let us see what is the expression for time period, period of revolution. We know that period of revolution T is equal to distance by speed, right? Speed is equal to distance by time. T is equal to distance by speed. During one complete revolution, the distance covered by the body is nothing but circumference of the circle. So, distance is 2 pi r divided by speed is v. So, time period T is equal to 2 pi r divided by v. V is q b r divided by m. So, T is equal to r cancels 2 pi m divided by b into q. So, this is the expression for time period. That means time for one revolution. Here, let us see what is the expression for time taken by the charged particle to describe a semicircle. This is for one complete circle. What is the time taken by the charged particle to describe this semicircle? If T is the time taken by the charged particle to describe a semicircle, then T is equal to T by 2, half of the time period. So, T is equal to T by 2. So, T is equal to T is 2 pi m divided by BQ, 2 cancels, pi m divided by BQ. This is the time taken by the charged particle to describe a semicircle, or this is nothing but half of the time period. So, this t is independent of velocity and it is independent of radius, right, or this time period or small letter t, they are independent of velocity and they are independent of radius. That means, as velocity increases, radius increases, but the time taken by the charged particle to describe this semicircle will not change. T is, if t is for this d1, time taken by the charged particle to complete this semicircle is 2 seconds, then the time taken by the same charged particle to complete this semicircle is also 2 seconds. If this is 2 seconds, then this is also 2 seconds. If this is 5 seconds, then this is also 5 seconds, because time t is independent of velocity or it is independent of radius. Radius increases, but the time for the semicircle, time taken by the charged particle to describe the semicircle will not change, it will remain constant. So, time taken by the charged particle to complete this semicircle is the same for this semicircle. So, in every case, time taken to complete the semicircle is constant, because t is independent of velocity and radius. T depends on mass. For this particle or for this proton, mass is constant, Q is constant, magnetic field B is constant, therefore, T is also constant. So, always remember, T remains the same, only radius changes, because R is directly proportional to velocity. In the presence of electric field, velocity of the charged particle increases. In the presence of magnetic field, the direction of motion changes. So, after a series of changes, the charged particle will come here. Here there is one hole. When this charged particle comes here, it passes through this hole. Now, we get a charged particle whose velocity or whose speed is maximum. So, this charged particle is used for nuclear physics experiments, because the velocity or the speed of this charged particle is very, very high. So, high energy particles are used in nuclear physics experiments. This is how we get high energy particles. Let us see what is the expression for frequency. Frequency nu is equal to, frequency is the reciprocal of time period. So, nu is equal to 1 by t, which is equal to bq by 2 pi m, because t is equal to 2 pi m bq, reciprocal of t is 1 by t, which is equal to bq divided by 2 pi m. This is nothing but the frequency of cyclotron. So, this frequency is also called as cyclotron frequency or gyro frequency, bq divided by 2 pi m. Now, let us see what is the expression for kinetic energy of this charged particle. We know that kinetic energy depends on speed, right? As speed changes, kinetic energy of the charged particle will change. So, kinetic energy K is equal to, or I will write here, the kinetic energy K is equal to half m into v square. So, kinetic energy of the particle K is equal to half m into, what is the expression for V? So, we know that the expression for V is BQR divided by m. So, V square is there. So, BQR divided by m whole square. So, kinetic energy K is equal to half m B square Q square R square divided by m square. So, K is equal to m cancels, half B square Q square R square divided by m. This is the expression for kinetic energy of the charged particle. So, the expression for maximum kinetic energy K is equal to half B square Q square R square divided by m. So, kinetic energy depends on R, it depends on m, it depends on B, it depends on Q. So, this is the expression for kinetic energy. Take down. Now, let us see what are the uses of cyclotron. Okay. What are the uses of cyclotron? So, it is used, uses of cyclotron. It is used to accelerate, it is used to accelerate the charged particles. It is used to accelerate the charged particles, and then it is used in hospitals to produce radioactive elements which are used in diagnosis and treatments. So, these two are the uses of cyclotron. Take down. So, these two are the uses of cyclotron. Take down.